Welcome back. Well, let's bring in Shadow Home Affairs Minister now, James Paterson. James, good to see you. Look, let's start with tonight's breaking news. The Albanese government has said, or the Prime Minister's office has said, that he's not going to expel Fatima Payman from the Labor Party despite her crossing the floor to support the Greens on their motion to recognise a state of Palestine, a motion that only rewards Hamas for the terrorism of October 7. But again, this is Albanese not exercising any authority over the party. What's your reaction to, firstly, this Greens motion and also the Prime Minister's response to it?
Well, Shari, it was a typically divisive stunt by the Greens, which shouldn't have been entertained by any person of goodwill towards the Israel-Palestine issue, and it's extraordinary that a Labor backbencher has decided to vote for it. Make no mistake, this is another very big test of the Prime Minister's leadership, and one that looks like he's set to fail. This is a direct challenge to his authority as Labor leader, and if he fails that, if there are no consequences for Senator Payman, then not just in your eyes and my eyes will he be a weak Prime Minister, but in the eyes of his own caucus members. They'll understand the consequences for a Labor MP or Senator if they cross the floor. That's very clear. No MP or Senator has crossed the floor in a Labor Prime Minister for over 30 years, and the last time they did so under Bob Hawke, there were serious consequences for them. So if she can get away with this, then every other Labor MP and Senator will be thinking, well, maybe I can get away with this in the future, and his authority over the party will be completely shattered.
If it's not already. Let's return to today's top story, Julian Assange walking free. He's now flown to a US island where he's going to enter a plea deal. We then don't have confirmation of his movements. We expect he might return to Australia. Do you support this outcome?
Shari, I thought your editorial tonight was very compelling on this issue. Julian Assange is no hero, but it is a welcome thing that this has finally come to an end. I note it has come to an end because Mr Assange has finally agreed to plead guilty to the charges against him, which are very serious national security charges. He could have entered into a plea deal at any point during his long incarceration, and while it's true, as many people say, that this has gone on for a long time, the reason why it's gone on for a long time is that he was evading lawful extradition requests by hiding in the Ecuadorian embassy and then challenging them through every level of the UK courts, which he's entitled to do. So it is welcome it's coming to an end. It is a credit to the United States as a rule of law democracy that they are showing such leniency towards someone accused of such a serious crime. And frankly, it dispels the myth of the United States critics that it is such an evil regime, when frankly, had Mr Assange done this in Russia, a patron of his, the consequences for him would have been much more severe than this.
Do you think he has actually done his time? I mean, yes, he wasn't free, but he hasn't technically been in prison.
Well, if it's good enough for the US Justice Department, that's a matter for them. The crime was committed against the United States government and their intelligence secrets. And so really that's a matter for them. But no one in Australia should make the mistake that he's some sort of hero to be celebrated, or, as you say, a journalist.
Indeed. Now, Labor has watered down its crackdown on vapes to gain the support of the Greens. This would see vapes available at chemists, pharmacies without a prescription. It would make Australia the first country to ban their sale outside of pharmacies. James, pharmacists are reportedly outraged. What do you think of this deal that Labor has struck over vapes with the Greens?
Well, Shari, it's a grubby deal that's fallen at the first hurdle. The government didn't even bother to consult with the people that they expect to participate in it to sell it. And if pharmacists refuse to sell vapes, then effectively what you're having is an extension of the prohibition model, which we know has failed. What we need to do with vaping is exactly what we've done with cigarettes. Treat it as a retail product, strictly regulate its sale, put it in plain packaging, tax it, and spend some of the revenue that we'll gain from that excise, as we have proposed, on a $250 million law enforcement package with a new task force stood up by the ABF, the Border Force, and the Australian Federal Police to crack down on this illegal vaping market, but also the illegal tobacco market, which has seen rampant gang violence across our country, particularly in my home state of Victoria, where 40 tobacconists in the last year have been set on fire or exploded. This is a government that's totally failed when it comes to vaping, totally failed when it comes to community safety, and we've got a much better plan to fix it.
All right. James Paterson, always great to